Hello and welcome to Last Call. Jake Kiefer alongside Nathaniel Finch and Graham Scher, our soccer and tennis correspondent. We have a lot of UIndy news to cover, UIndy sports, and we're going to pivot gears. We're going to talk about some D1 football. We're going to talk about some pro football, maybe get into some Monday night previews. So let's get started. Graham, UIndy men's soccer was on a win streak, and then something happened to derail that.
But that's not the end of the world, right? Tell us more.
So they have a big game this Sunday coming up. It's going to be their biggest game of the year. So Michael Talasios and Ibo Yilmaz, two big goal scorers for UIndy. They each scored a goal on Sunday, but they ended up losing to Missouri S&T 3-2, the final score there. And they also beat Rockhurst earlier this year. 1-0 was the final score. So they were on a 7-game win streak earlier this season. They ended up losing that winning streak on Sunday. They lost to Missouri S&T, so now they've won 7 of 8. They finished the overall regular season 9-3-3, the final score. Their final record, I should say, in 15 games. They're third in the GLVC, and it's going to be really interesting because they've already beat Rockhurst. They beat the Hawks this year. They beat them 1-0. It's going to be really interesting to see if their defense can kind of step up and come up big against the Hawks on Sunday.
So you mentioned it's their biggest game of the year. They're hosting the GLVC tournament quarterfinals, the first round. So like you said, they're third in the GLVC. If the top two teams, Maryville and Lewis, I believe, if they both lose, then suddenly they get to host a quarterfinal or a semifinal game. But their biggest game is on Sunday. We're going to have that on UIndy TV as well. We're going to broadcast that here on this very YouTube channel. So be sure to catch that at 2:30 on Sunday is the time that game is going to be started, as the broadcast will start around 2:25. So make sure to watch that. As far as tennis, though, UIndy's got a pretty good tennis team, right?
Yeah, they do. And their two best players this year, Tom Zuch and Edgar Dustay from France. Those two just won nationals down in Georgia, the ITA Doubles National Championship. They got it done. They won the first set 6-4, and then they lost the second set 2-6. And then in the third set, this was the big one, they got it done. They dominated 10-1 in the final set, and it was a huge finish that time. And now the two move on to San Diego, California. They move on to the ITA National Fall Championship. That's going to be this upcoming week, November 2nd through the 6th, Tuesday through Sunday. And those two are going to try and get it done for UIndy. It's going to be a huge weekend, and I'm really looking forward to see if they can get it done.
Now let's switch gears and talk about a game that all three of us were at over the weekend. How about UIndy football? We were both at the game.
Man.
You called it for radio. First of all, how'd the call go for radio?
Oh, it went awesome. Best call of the year, and it was a great game.
I love to hear that. So they won, obviously a great game. Got that big lead to start, and then Quincy started to come back and really make it a game. The final score was 52-38, though. So in the end, it was a Michael Brown interception that kind of sealed the game. But it was a heck of a game, and it was a lot of fun to watch. What do you guys think?
Oh, it was a ton of fun to watch. It was probably my favorite game of the season to watch so far because Quincy came in 4-3 on the year, and they really just played an outstanding game. They fell behind early, but that was really a testimony to UIndy's defense. Was they just got off to a hot start. They got a couple interceptions in this game early, and then UIndy they kept running the football, which eventually got them the time of possession lead against Quincy on Saturday. It was a great game.
Yeah, you mentioned they kept running the ball. How about Jaquan Buchanan? He came in for the injured Toriano Clinton. Tori's probably out for the year, so is Connor Kennett. So down their top two players, but we saw Conkling and Buchanan fill in very nicely. We see here it's a Buchanan reception. So he had a touchdown reception, and then he had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. He had himself a great day, but it was in the fourth quarter here when Quincy started to fight back. As you guys can see here, the Greyhounds had a big lead. It was 42-10 going to halftime, and then Quincy just ate up on it. Almost ended up tying the game late, and instead it was the Michael Brown interception that you'll see here in just a little bit that sealed the deal.
Yeah, and so Derek had a very big game. He stepped up big time for the Hounds, especially down a few players. He had 8 receptions, 151 yards, 1 touchdown. But Quincy's quarterback, I was very impressed by Tion Harris. I mean, he set a school record for single game passing yards, 503 passing yards. Most of that due to game script, of course. They had to throw the ball 60-some-odd times. But I think that the Quincy Hawks are on the come up a little bit.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like garbage time yards that he threw. It's what we've seen a lot of guys throw a lot of yards against UIndy's garbage time when the Greyhounds are up big. But this was coming back and almost winning the game. So they were definitely some good stats, and it was pretty impressive to see Harris.
Yeah, and Quincy falls to 4-4 on the year. They haven't finished above 500 since 2014, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can close out the year. They're in Truman State this week, and then I think William Jewell to close the year, so it'll be fun to watch, and it'll be crazy finish to the year for all of GLVC play. UIndy 6-1, trying to get to GLVC tournament all healthy. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yes, it is. Hounds moved up to number 17 in the AFCA poll, so moved up 3 spots from number 20. Looking forward to see how they continue the season. We're going to go ahead and pivot gears and talk about some D1 sports, but before that, we're going to take a little break. Stick around.